All right, everyone. A little bit of a bigger VC today, but welcome to the interviews portion of TBA 14. We're going to be interviewing the top 3 players. They are all agreed to do an interview, so yeah, we're going to get some interesting insight. Yuven, first of all, congrats on winning. That was a very very back and forth set. It's kind of funny that you discovered Embers being good against checkerboard, and you actually used it in this tournament.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty interesting. So I know Kai did have one question for you. He doesn't really do the interviews. I usually do them, but he did have one question for you. What was that, Kai?
I think it was a question for both Glue and Joven, but first off, for Joven first, I wanted to answer this one. But in the first 3 turns of your match between you and Glue in Double Gemini, when you did Captain first, and then I believe the height, and then the heavy splatling Deco, and then the Splat Charger on your 3rd turn, I thought you would go, I thought for the Splat Charger, I thought you would just rotate it differently to have it at a different place, because I saw that one spot that'll fit for the Splat Charger in case of Harmony. After the Harmony clash, though. Why wouldn't it be possible to have that just so it could change the game, just so it could change the match evenly?
I don't remember having another Charger place.
You have in your deck, you had a Splat Charger. There's a possibility that you would have just played it differently. Not in your base, but towards Glue's base.
I did that. I did base towards Glue's base.
But why though?
Because
you would have played if you would have played it. Well, if you would have played it in on base, that's where it leads to the Paintbrush. That's where Glue plays Paintbrush, basically right towards to where Captain was at in the 3rd turn. And looking from the that I recorded secretly for myself, right after that Harmony clash between you and the heavy splatting Deco, why did Glue go for why did Glue pierce through when it fits through perfectly with that Paintbrush? I've never seen a Paintbrush go through Captain and
Paintbrush is literally a better Octobrush, so that's kind of why.
Yeah.
So why would you so for Glue, why would you prefer Paintbrush over Octobrush?
Well, we'll be interviewing Glue in a bit. We're interviewing Yuven right now. Thank you for the question, Kai.
But he can answer later.
Yeah. I know you wanted to ask a question about Yuven's decision, so I'm glad you had to ask it. Going back to you, Yuven. So entering this tournament, well, first of all, you posted all your decks in deck sharing, right? And you didn't post your box seats deck. I asked you why, and you said, I don't really play on box seats. But this tournament actually had box seats legal. So when did you make your box seats deck? I assume you did it in secret.
Yeah, I mean, when you asked me that was 2 months ago.
Right,
so
that was a while ago.
I saw Bone Meister's deck, and I have 10, 12, 14 cards from Bone Meister. And I tweaked it a little, but yeah, it's just Bone Meister's
That's
deck.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So because Bone Meister really kind of pushed the Octodisco meta. They used it in a TSD and they placed 2nd or something like that. I remember I was commenting on a tournament with Levi, and that really made us believe in Octodisco. And it can definitely be a good turn 2 card in most maps, and also it's really good on box seats. I mean, we saw it in losers finals a couple times as the opener, so that could be kind of a meta opener, I think, because people don't play the map a lot, so people don't really know what the meta cards are. So I think it's really interesting.
It's so weird because
it is weird.
You want something slightly smaller than your opponent.
Right. I think an opener on box seats is very different as a concept in comparison to other maps.
Yeah.
It's very, very different. And and I think also the shape of Octodisco lends itself well as an opener to specifically box seats, kind of the shape. So how when did you kind of make or adjust your box seats deck? When did you make it?
I don't know, maybe last month.
Really? Okay, so interesting. You have to you'll have to share it in the forum, so you can have all your decks in the forums. I know your decks are slightly different every event, but I do like when people share decks and stuff like that. So entering this tournament as well, box seats being legal. Did you ban box seats in your bans for stage striking? Like, what was kind of your philosophy of that? Yes, makes sense. What do you tend to ban?
Usually squared, because my deck is bad.
Really?
I like the map, but my deck is bad.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I think we've all kind of have that. So yeah, interesting. I didn't see you play that many box seats matches this tournament, and how you kind of play the map is a bit non-traditional. In comparison to like how some other people play, like Lou, for instance. But I think you're still, yeah. I mean, I still think you did really well, though. I kind of doubted you in that first match. I thought you were going to lose, honestly. But you actually brought it back because N was making some mistakes, like kind of towards the end of the game.
Differently.
I think like how you do your openers and like how you kind of play the big game is different than a lot of other people. How people play box seats. So that's kind of where some of my doubt came from. But you still won. So yeah, it's mostly like how you play different stages of the game. That's what I was referring to.
Yeah,
but
still like several changes.
Yes, yeah. It's yeah. I also noticed you play like Flutter and Tony Kensa. You know, kind of the Flutter and the baby Flutter, as the community kind of jokingly calls
Tony Kensa is good. It's just good. It wasn't even in Bone Miser's deck, but
you think it's good in box seats only, or do you think it's a good card?
It's good in box seats. I mean, it can work in other places if you build deck around it.
Right. No, I think it's really good. I think it's underrated in box seats. Because it really does. I don't know. I feel like with a smaller map like box seats, some of those smaller cards and those weirder shapes get a lot more use and a lot more like versatility. Like the tri sloshers are really good. The end zaps. Oh yeah, the way you use end zaps was really cool too. That kind of unintentional like intentional base combo you did on the left side of that one match where you put that end zap on the side, that was really good. Because end zaps don't.
It was going to be my last card.
Right. Yeah. End zap doesn't really see use at all because it's out. I mean, there's end zap and there's junior, and it's like, why play end zap when you have Viper, and why play junior when you have suction, right? So it's like, I don't know. So yeah. I think. Okay. Last box seats question. I promise. How big is your box seats deck? I'm very curious.
Let me look right now.
I'm very because I think the biggest box seats deck that I've seen succeed in a tournament was like 120-ish, like 119. That was from Luigi Fan. So
103.
Okay, that's pretty average. That's pretty good. So not too surprised about that. Well, actually, no.
Larger than Bone Miser's.
Right. Yeah. The deck sizes kind of go between like 100 to 110. It kind of depends. So I assume you've done a lot of theory crafting, right? Maybe on box seats or other maps. You tend to do that a lot.
Yeah.
Do you think there is a hidden meta card on box seats, whether that's like an opener or something else? Do you think there's something people aren't like paying attention to at the current moment? I mean, Tony Kensa is obviously one of those, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's not an opening.
Yeah, I think as an opening, I don't even know. Like Octodisco, I thought that was just like a meme. That was the meme that was shared. The Fry one against the Shiver against the Octodisco. I was like, no way.
But I haven't played that much box seats.
Right.
Maybe like...
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I think it being legal in stake striking is fair, because if you don't like the map, you can strike it. Obviously, it's still all an experiment, because it's banned like in other formats that we have, like counterpicking and stuff like that, or the only other format. But yeah, that's fair. I think we see the community needs more experience playing it, and we can kind of like figure out the meta more and like what's. I mean, even in the April Fool's tournament, like, we kind of figured out a lot, like, because I didn't see any 312s on any of the box seats games, which is good, because 312s aren't that good on box seats. Like, most of them are pretty trash. Yeah, the main question I have with you entering this tournament, like, how can I describe this? So, you have been winning. You can't speak. You won 3 tournaments in a row, right? Recently.
Yeah.
Is this your 4th tournament win in a row?
Yeah, this is the 4th tournament win in a week as well.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, like, because what was it like? What was the tournaments you won?
The Dualon,
Dualon, right? Special, yeah, the one by Jack.
Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this one.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever had someone win that many unique events before. I mean, those are like all the Tableturf tournaments basically right now, which is pretty funny. Yeah. So, so you've won some tournaments in the West. Do you plan to like enter more Japanese tournaments? And like test your mettle in those? I know the time zone difference can kind of be like a bit of an issue. I know Pika Pika, he was playing Dualon at like 3 a.m. and that's, it's kind of terrible for him. So that's kind of why we don't really see any Japanese players in our tournaments, right? It's kind of sad. Yeah,
but for me in Europe, it's like afternoon when they have their evening tournaments. So.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Do you want Great, yeah. Do you want Japanese players to enter our events?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because we haven't really seen a Japanese player enter our events specifically, which I hope that changes, because some of them are definitely have the event player role. They definitely see it. I think it's just a time zone thing.
Yeah, maybe I should tweet about it.
Tweet about what?
For if I wish.
Japanese right, because the Japanese players, they follow you on Twitter. I forgot about that. Right. So, yes. I think it's really interesting because the Japanese scene is actually smaller than us, even though Japan has more players than us when it comes to Splatoon, right? Because it's a Japanese company. But their community is very small. Their server only has like 100 people in it. And we basically know who all of their top players are, essentially.
But I do think they have more top players.
Oh, yes. No. I think even though their community is smaller, the skill floor is much higher, right? Yeah. So they have they have a lot of really good players grinding against each other. We don't really have that here yet. Wink, wink. We're doing something to fix that. But yeah. No, I completely agree. With the Japanese scene stuff, it's very different, and they also think about the game differently. Like, they think Zipcaster is one of the best 312s in the game. I mean, I don't know if it's the best. I think it's definitely like much higher than we originally kind of envisioned. Because I've seen, because if you really think about it, it's kind of like the top half of like an Ultra Stamp or like a Booyah Bomb, like that kind of that thick part of the card, like the top of it. But it's like put on like a diagonal stick. And I don't know if there's any other diagonal card that's like as good as Zipcaster. Maybe Super Chump. Well, no, Super Chump is kind of more dense, I think. Super Chump, I don't know. I don't think it's bad. It's like kind of fallen off a little bit. People got like super excited about it, but
Yeah, I think like you want a long 312
right.
to be able to.
Yeah.
Early
Agreed.
Special.
Agreed. 100%. Did you? Okay, so I know you mentioned this as a well. I don't think you were joking. You were just stating it, but you've used in tournaments. You used almost every card in the game.
Yeah.
In your decks. So, is there kind of a reason for that? If you can kind of explain.
I just look at every card.
In my deck building. And you want to try it out. Like, I saw you use 52 Gal in this tournament, and it's like no one uses
this tournament I had a few new cards. Yeah, 52. Tony Kensa.
Right.
Embers.
Right. Yeah, and these are cards that like no one really looks at all. Either because they're outclassed or because they're really weird. Like, they're just hard to understand. Like 52 Gal in particular, like a lot of people compared it to like, Rapid Blaster, and just being like a diet Rapid Blaster. And it's like, why use this when you can use Rapid Blaster, which is true. But it's like, some cards, just because they're outclassed doesn't mean you can't use them. You can use any card you want. It's just some cards are naturally going to be better than others, or you might have to design more of the deck around the card, like Burst Bomb. No, don't use Burst Bomb. If anyone's watching the stream, do not use Burst Bomb in your decks. It's not a good card.
Burst Bomb against me.
Okay, use Burst Bomb against Yuvin, but no one else. Like, Yuvin will let you. But, what was I going to say? I don't think... Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, you basically almost use every card in the game at this point. So you have a lot of experience, and I think that's really cool. I don't think I have any other questions for you specifically. You'll be getting your badge later, after the stream probably. But congrats, yippee. Yeah, enjoy your Coca-Cola and your Fortnite. But congrats on winning, Yuvin, and we'll be interviewing Glue now.
Thanks.
Yeah. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. All right, we're gonna be interviewing Glue now, who is second place in the event. Who placed second? So,
Yippee.
Glue, hello.
Oh,
Hello.
hello, Glue.
How are you today? How did that run feel?
It felt pretty good. Kinda sad that I didn't bracket reset, but still second.
Yeah, that sucks.
If you did bracket reset, though, you would have like won by now.
Well, I mean,
Maybe.
I think it's really close. I think Glue or Yuvin could have won that event. Glue, that Lakefront game was kind of painful to watch. There was a lot of, I could tell, I don't know how nervous you were, but you were very indecisive with some of your plays, and you couldn't really manage space that well throughout the second half of the match. So kind of talk to me about it. What was going through your mind in that Lakefront match? Because before you know it, we were on the 5th to last turn, like just like that.
Yeah, I was trying to set a Snatcher, but like I just constantly didn't pull bow, so it kind of just ruined me. Yeah,
I noticed you didn't get your opener.
No, I didn't even get Goober either.
Yeah, so you got Goober really late, and when you actually played Goober, it clashed with Elier, right?
Yeah. And it also just ruined my bow spot, so it kind of just ruined my entire day.
Oh, I was not aware Yuvin played Tetris. That's interesting. That makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of analogs with Tetris and Tableturf and Blockus, which is kind of what inspired Tableturf. It's kind of cool. What were you saying? Sorry, I was reading the chat.
The clash kind of just ruined everything for me because I couldn't even Snatcher there anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it also just ruined my bow spot, so yeah, the game just became unwinnable there.
That kind of sucks, especially when it's game 5. I mean, yeah, I saw Yuvin a couple times in this tournament not get his combo, and lose. He lost pretty hard on Main Street. So he's not invincible. He definitely loses to people. He gets upset sometimes. He definitely has his periods where he's like doing really good. He's untouchable, and then there's other tournaments where he like goes out like 5th or something. He goes out like a buster. He's definitely a bit inconsistent in that regard, but right now he's in his peak era or peak gameplay period. He's won 4 tournaments in a row, like we heard. He's planning to go to Japan. Not physically go to Japan, but go to Japanese tournaments and try his mettle, test his mettle against some of those players.
Yeah.
Hey, Hadros, I have a question for Glue earlier.
Sure. Yeah, you can ask it. Yeah. Sure.
So remember that paintbrush you played? Remember the paintbrush? I thought, how did you fit through that with Captain that easily? I thought Octobrush would have been better, at least.
I'm just not that big of a fan of Octobrush, and I just feel like Paintbrush and Inkbrush are just better in each regard.
They are better in their utility.
Mm-hmm. And Paintbrush can just activate off the sides, but I didn't get too far for that. But I think wait, did I heavy deco there? I don't remember. I think I did. And I come up with heavy deco there. It's pretty good.
Okay. Cool. We got your question answered. That's awesome. Yeah, because usually I don't I mean, sometimes people will ask questions, but it's like I mainly do the interviews, so it's kind of weird to be listening sometimes. But yeah, so going this tournament, you went into it knowing box seats is legal. You are of the side of the spectrum that you like box seats.
Box seats is so good. I love it.
Why is that?
I don't know actually. It's just actually good question. I don't know why I like it.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, I think like the fact that it's so different from a lot of the maps makes it automatically more interesting. And you play the game in a fundamentally different way in comparison to the other 7 maps, legal maps. So that could be a couple of reasons. But yeah, finding the words to describe why you like something can be difficult.
Yeah, just box seats is kind of just weird, but like...
Yeah, it's weird. Some people think it's weird in a bad way. Some people think it's weird in a good way. It really depends on who you're asking, because the community is very much split on that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting. So, how big is your box seats deck?
Wait, let me just check it real quick.
Yeah, I think for Joe, yeah, for humans was pretty average.
95. The size is 95. Pretty average size for a box seats deck, I feel.
Yeah. I feel like I rarely see box seats deck that are outside of the norm.
Yeah. You kind of just have to follow the norm, or you're just gonna have to skip every turn, which kind of kills the game in box seats, because you really need a special spot, and every special is realistically gonna get activated.
Yeah, the reason why N lost that last game against you is he couldn't find well, there was a bunch of unlucky clashes, first of all, but second of all, like, he couldn't find a place to special, so, and you did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's another kind of factor. What did you say your size was, or are you checking?
It was 95.
95. Okay. That's pretty average. Yeah. So, you and Ed had a couple of very interesting moments in box seats, where one of the games you actually clashed with the Octodiscos.
You know how we used Liljet turn 2?
Yeah.
I was debating using Liljet too.
No, that would be so funny.
It would have been so funny, dude.
Yeah, that would be really hilarious. Yeah, because the thing is, like, we have a delay, so it's not like you can, like, do stuff like that. So, yeah, that's really funny. So, I mean, obviously, Octodisco is kind of a meta opener, so, like, it's kind of an exception. My opinion is that any card bigger than a 10 in box seats is pretty cringe. It's not that good. What do you think is kind of the curve people should be going for with, like, their decks? Like, what's the biggest card people should run in box seats?
I feel like you have to run a lot of 3s, a lot of 5s.
Yes.
And a lot of 8s. That's kind of just what I do, and I just threw in Octodisco and Snatcher because Snatcher.
Right. I mean, the thing is, like, even though Octodisco is like a 12 block card, its shape is really conducive to how box seats is kind of played in the early game. Yeah. And like, I saw you flank with it. I saw you use it as an opener. Like, the shape is really nice. Like, there's not a lot of big cards with really compact shapes for box seats, which I think makes most of the height, like the bigger cards, like pretty trash. For both just playing it. It's like, yeah, you could use it as an opener, but a card just being good as an opener is like not very strong, because that just requires luck. Like, you need a 1 in 15 chance to draw this, or I don't know what the chances are. So, in box seats, what do you think? What do you think about it in the context of stage striking specifically? Not its legality and like counterpicking, but what do you think about it being its legality and like stage striking?
I feel like it's perfect for stage striking. It's kind of just like Gemini. If you don't get a deck for it, you can just strike it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean,
I don't think it should be legal in counterpicking.
Right? No,
I love
definitely
the space,
not.
but it
No,
definitely
because
shouldn't.
yeah, literally, someone could like troll and like just counterpick to box seats, and that could be manipulated like very easily.
Yeah, you could just like cheese people
Oh
who
yes.
don't have a deck.
Oh yeah, like
Just
troll like people in the Tableturf pool. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
Honestly, that's a good idea. I should do that.
That's a great idea. No, that's really toxic. So what are some cards that you think people should use more in box seats, or is the meta still really young?
Honestly, people have kind of just used the same card, so I don't really know. But like,
I mean, Dr. Disco, Tony Kensa, those are some of the new ones that I've seen.
Yeah, I believe in Tony Kensa, but I want to put it on my deck, but like, I don't know what to replace because my deck's not just that good.
Yeah, you even used Flutter, which is really interesting.
Yeah, I honestly think that Flutter is like the second best biggest card. Like,
I mean, as an opener, yeah.
Yeah, like I think Octodisco is number 1, Flutter's like number 2, and the rest are kind of just garbage.
They're garbage. I mean, yeah, like the thing is, like,
yeah, they are garbage to me.
Maybe Steel Wheel. I don't know.
The thing is, like, too, with Octodisco, like, you can play it off the starting block and touch the opponent's starting block.
Yeah, it's just so crazy. Even if you get clashed, it's still worth it.
Right. It's so much pressure. It's really good. And I assume you have the same for Flutter, or at least very similar. So, okay, we asked a lot of box seats questions. Obviously, we need people to play it more and kind of figure out the meta.
We need another box seats tournament, to be honest.
Yeah, if anyone wants to run a box seats tournament, I think Cobalt is running it, but they've been delaying it, so it's like it's been kind of up in the air. So, okay, entering this tournament, this is your first grand finals in TBO. You've won BJC, you placed second in BJC champs. How did it feel getting so far in a TBO?
Honestly, it felt pretty good. I wanted to win, but like, I didn't end up winning, but I'm still happy with second place.
Yes. Yeah, that Lakefront game, definitely a learning experience. The set was very back and forth in general.
I saw Joven was constantly just counterpicking. I mean, banning Box and Lakefront, and I just counterpicked to Gemini. I won that, and then Joven just banned Gemini instead of Lakefront. So I was like, perfect. Let me just counterpick to Lakefront. Didn't really end up working out, but oh well.
Yeah. The thing is, like, the more you play against certain players, the more you kind of tend to learn their preferences and like what they're strong or weak at. And really, the counterpicking war and all that stake striking BS really is like a strategical part of the game, and it's something you actually have to get good at. I mean, they have to do it in Smash. You have to do it here because stake striking is done a lot in Smash. So, for this tournament, I know you're on map-specific decks. Did you change anything about your decks like for this tournament or not?
No. I have my Gnarly Eddie Rockenberg deck, but like, I don't really feel confident in it. I played it like 3 matches.
Gnarly Eddie is a weird card. I have never seen that card used. Not even from Fuven. It's harder to use Dapples, I feel like. It's like, because Donut as an archetype is already really strange.
Yeah.
And
it's like 3 Dapples just glued together,
Yeah, I know. It's like, you can't just stick cards together and expect it to be right. Like, only Kirby Bim, or Kirby, they're the only one kind of messed around with Dapples, and they actually beat Yuven in a tournament once in a past TBO. So, I mean, it could definitely work. But that's the thing. It's like, if one person is just pushing it, it's not going to get a lot of development, right? And because we ban box seats and people are so split on box seats isn't really game played, so the meta isn't getting developed. So I think you're right. I think we definitely need a tournament for those people, right? So yeah, I completely agree. So you didn't really change your decks.
No.
I forget I've interviewed you before, so I know what your favorite. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you. So you also really like the card Stature, which a lot of people. DBL Cookies also like Stature. He's used it in a couple turns. You didn't. A lot of people don't like Stature for several reasons, but you like Stature. You use it. You go for it with a couple like combos. What do you like about Stature? How does it work for you?
I feel like it's just really a unique shape, and that's why people think it's bad.
It's definitely unique.
That's why I think it's good, because nothing else is like it.
It's interesting because I think yes, the shape is really unique. I'll agree, but there's a difference between like being unique and being like useful. Because I think the shape of a card in this game is everything.
Yeah,
it defines a lot of different things. And the thing is, of Stature, like if you just put a Swap Bomb onto a Sprinkler, right? How good is that? It could be good for some things, like you've definitely shown synergy with it with GooTuber and stuff, which I thought was interesting, but I don't know. Maybe people will grow more on it over time. I think people still just have like a negative connotation, like associated with it because of the shape. And
yeah, I just really want to see it more because
it is.
I feel like I'm the only one pushing it right now, and
it's.
we just need to see
Yeah,
more
I don't
Snatchers.
know. I can't think of a. Is Snatcher the worst 3/6? Is it?
Wait, let me just look real quick.
It's. I don't know. I feel like it is. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but
I'd probably just say like Slosher Deco or maybe like Stamper.
the Sloshers. I don't know. The Sloshers. Yeah, the Sloshers are kind of falling off a little bit because we've seen more like tries and stuff instead of Slosher. So I could see where you're coming from. It's definitely a debate. There's some people that just hate Stature. So, maybe that opinion could change in the future if players like you or other players kind of push that card in the future. And that's kind of what is nice about that is that, we have people pushing these cards and we can figure out like, hey, is it meta? Showers kind of did that with Triple Link Strike. And Yuvin kind of did that with Octorumor Emperor, stuff like that. So I think it's really cool. I don't think. Oh, checking in text. I don't think I have any other questions for. Actually, I have one more. In TBO 14, who's your hardest opponent?
It's definitely Joven. I lost to them in winner side and lose and grand finals.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, it's
But I'm so glad I went 2-3 in both of the games against them. So
yeah,
I'm pretty glad with my
that grand finals was really crazy. In general, it's very much back and forth. I also noticed, you like reverse swept Rose Dragon actually won the last TBO.
Yeah.
And Rose Dragon, he's beaten Joven before. So he's won 2 TBOs actually. So I thought that was pretty interesting. There's a lot of top players. The top players are getting closer to each other in skill, I think, as time goes on. I think the RNG of Tableturf kind of helps balance things out, for sure.
Also, I think I can probably beat Joven, but I just don't have much experience in the matchup, so I don't really know what they cook most of the time.
Yes, Joven is banned from BJC for obvious reasons. We might unban Super maybe 10 years from now. No, Tableturf is going to be played.
Can we just let Joven lose on BGC one day?
I don't know. I don't know about that specifically. Okay, Glue. Well, I don't have any other questions for you. We're gonna be interviewing N now. Thank you for. Why did Jack misspell your name? Why did he put 2 U's in your name? That's hilarious.
Glue.
It's Gloover. Okay,
Gloover.
well we'll see.
New meme confirmed.
New meme confirmed. All right, Glue. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
Congrats on the second. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Okay, everyone. We're gonna be going to end really soon. He just has to join the secret interview VC that we made, so people don't randomly join and ruin it. He is online, so he'll be joining very soon. Okay, and speaking of the devil, here he is. Hello, N.
Hello.
Hey, N.
Hey.
That was a great losers final.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you were gonna get 3-0'd, and then Kai said, what did you say? You said like, oh, if he plays Octotrooper, he could like win. I was like, no, and then it was a draw. So, the Octotrooper kind of
draw with that Octotrooper. Like, if you never had a perfect pick with that, you would have lost.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was a crazy set or crazy match. I was almost afraid you guys were gonna draw again because if you took out like the will clause, I would have had to give Glue the point and you would have lost. So yeah, very stressful. So yeah, this is kind of the first TBO where in a long time where box seats has been legal. And it's also we're weekly now, so we're also gonna have this next week. So yeah, it's really exciting. So before this tournament, Jack has kind of told me you don't like box seats, or at least you don't like playing on it.
That's not true. I love box seats. I really like to play on it.
Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. Maybe because I don't know how much box seats experience did you have before like this event?
Before I think I played the April Fool's tournaments.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember
that. When it was announced that box seats will be legal in this TBO, I started to practice it a lot. And,
yeah, that tournament was on April Fool's. That was like a while. That was like 3 months ago.
That's a while ago, but yeah,
a lot has changed. I mean, we learned a lot in that tournament. We learned that 312s aren't very good in box seats. So, what do you like about box seats specifically?
I think it's funny. It's a very small
map.
And it's
you know what?
different, and I think it's a bad map. And
it's a bad map competitively. I agree.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I think it's funny and yeah.
It's funny. That's true. Only reason to keep selling around, right? So, in box seats, or not in box seats, how big is your deck in box seats?
I think one is 104 and the other one is 106.
You have 2 box seat decks? That's insane.
Yeah.
Insane, man.
We have a super fan over here. So, like, now, what's the difference?
Only 2 cards. One has Fry 2 and the other one Octo Disco.
Yeah, we were gonna ask that. You were trying to like use Fry 2, but you never ended up using it. Are you gonna like? What's the idea behind that?
Just as an opener, but I never got it. Unlucky.
yeah, I never saw it. Like, yeah, because Kakai was saying like you could do like a Fry 2 special attack. But we never saw that either, so I don't even think it fits that well in the later parts of box seats.
And we would have called it Octo Disco moment.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if Octo Disco could it really fit in like the end of a box seats match. I don't think it could.
It's impossible. Yeah, unless it's all lines.
Right. No, that's not possible though. Like we saw a match where like both players got 13 special, and like when there's that many special points on the board, it's like a mess. You have to like really, and that's where shapes come into play. That's why cards like Try and Wiper and Charger are so good on box seats, is because they're very like they're too wide, or they're very like compact. So okay, so you have a couple different decks. That makes sense. So what do you think about box seats? Do you think box seats should be legal in stage striking? Like, what was your opinion about it? What's your opinion about it since playing it?
I don't know. I think I played it a lot, and I think it's
for
very
practice.
luck.
Yeah.
You need a lot of luck with your cards, and I'm not very sure about it.
Yeah, I think
it's fun to play, but I don't know if it's good in tournaments.
Right. Yeah, I think like the more big cards you run, the more luck dependent it is. Because there's a certain there's certain types of decks and cards that will just work. Like Try is insane in box seats. Like a tier list would be, it would look completely different like in a box seats metagame, right? But the thing is, literally half of the community likes it and the other half just despises it. So it's very polarizing. So I don't know if we could do a box seats tournament. Like someone else would have to do that, obviously. But yeah, so you got to grand finals in the recent Duelan. And you went to game 5 twice. Tell me about that. How close were some of those matches against Juven?
Yeah, very close, of course. He's a very good player, and
yeah. I mean, yeah, we got introduced to you through Duelan. You've won what? One Duelan, 2?
I won Duelan 6 and Duelan 13.
Oh, right. Okay, I remember now. My memory's a bit fuzzy. I haven't watched Duelan in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you're definitely good as well. And I think you were the first German player that we got introduced to, and then I think Jack came into the scene, and then we saw people like Flemmy, Ish. I don't know any other German players that play in our events. I've seen Maxim in Special Up, but I haven't seen them play. So, and Flemmy placed second in the last BJC, which I thought was really cool. And the only reason he lost is because that was Cobalt's tournament. You know, Cobalt didn't sleep in. Cobalt was the best player that day. And that's kind of how it goes. You know, Juven was the best player today, but it doesn't mean he's the best player every day. So, you're kind of going in this tournament. Did you expect to make it to Grand Final? I mean, there's a lot of good players in this event. I feel like it would be really difficult to get to Grands.
Yeah, it was a lot of very good players. I think I'm very...
so do you think you have the confidence to fight any of the other Duelan Pro players out there if you ever have a chance to join?
Well, he's fought in Golden Duelan, so I think he has some confidence.
Okay.
I don't know. I had some internet issues at that
day. I know. Yeah, you lost the Duelan. Well, it's really funny. That second Duelan you won by technicality. Because against Waffle. Not to discredit you, but Waffle is playing insane that event. And Waffle is one of the strangest anomalies I think in the community because they don't really play tournaments, but when he does, you know, he can beat player like. I think the reason why he got banned from BJC is because he double eliminated Juven in Tableturf Tuesdays, and he obviously made it to grand finals, and he's really good. So, and I think it's really cool too because I think in Tableturf Tuesdays he had less than 90 cards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he doesn't have a lot of cards. He only has like 112, so he's a lot more limited in comparison to players, but he's still really good. So really, it's not about the cards. I think it's about the player. I think it's really important. So yeah, kind of in this tournament, did you expect to win, or did you expect to get super far?
I didn't really expect to win, but I think I had a good chance. And in Tableturf, it's always some RNG, so
no. I've seen you. I saw you rage quit one of the Duelans, or you didn't rage quit. You were joking, but you said I didn't get Octostamp until turn 12 or something. You got terrible RNG, and that's one of your favorite cards, right? Octostamp.
Yeah, that's still my favorite card. I use it in every deck.
Yeah, hollow foil. Yeah, everyone kind of has that card. Yeah, I remember what I asked you what your favorite 312 is. Has that changed? Because I haven't seen you change your 312s too much. I think it's been pretty consistent.
It's still Ultrastamp and Tentamisses. I only use those two.
Right. Is it a map thing with those 312s? Do you use one on a specific map?
I think I always use the double 312.
Oh, I'm okay.
Those two in
I'm stupid.
Every map, but in Gemini I only use one 312. But
right. So yeah, because I keep forgetting to use double 312. Because some players they use double 312 in one map. They use it for all the maps. Some people do it only for a couple. Zipcaster I know is a really popular 312 in Gemini. It's also really good as a normal card. It saved Jack.
Try that one.
Yeah. I don't know how many cards you have, but yeah, I mean
180 or 190, something like that.
Really? Yeah, I have a similar amount. Yeah, I have every 312 in the game, so it's good when you can experiment with a lot of 312s. I mean, there's people think like Big Bubbler could be like good because Big Bubbler is kind of like in the bottom 4 worst 312s. Those are like, this is what the community thinks. So we have like, what do we have? Like Tactical, or no, it's Killer Whale, Booyah Bomb, Big Bubbler, and Wave Breaker. Those are kind of like the trash tier.
Yeah.
Do you think there's like a 312 that is kind of like more unexplored that you think has like potential?
I don't know. I think all the 312s that are considered bad, I think they're just
they're just unredeemable. There's no chance.
Yeah, I don't like Big Bubble. I don't like Weird Bomb anyway.
It's funny because I had this conversation with like some of the other people in this VC in a different VC. It was like Yuvin, Glue, and Jack, and they all said Big Bubbler. Big Bubbler is,
I don't know.
Big Bubbler is the best out of those, and it's like it's like Big Bubbler. It's like Annie. It's like when I think of Big Bubbler, I think of Annie. When I think of Annie, I think of bad. I think of a bad like player. I don't really see it cooking as an opener, but yeah. I also saw Jack linked the DSB Grand Finals. You guys made it to Grand Finals in that tournament. Do you know who won that? I wasn't watching. Do you know who won that tournament?
I won it. I was in Grand Finals against Jack, and I won the tournament.
Oh, you won? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How many players did those tournaments kind of get?
I don't know. I think it had 9 or 10.
Oh, that's not too bad. Yeah, I think that our biggest tournament ever, our biggest Tableturf tournament ever, it had like, or no, it was a Dulon tournament from Dapple, and it had like 40 people. That was crazy.
Yeah,
I mean,
the problem with
the
problem with DSB is it's only German players, and
right.
Yeah.
And there's only so many German Tableturf players specifically, or people interested, people in Germany that are interested, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really awesome. I don't think I have any other questions. I don't think you're the type of player to change your deck, because I've seen you play in tournament and your decks don't really change too much. Like, you made a Gemini deck, but that's kind of like it, right?
Yeah, I still use the same decks I used like 3 months ago.
Yeah, I mean, there's some players that are like that. I mean, there's an argument to be made, like, you know, whether map-specific decks or, like, general decks are better, but really it comes down, it's too early to, like, tell stuff like that. I think it really depends on the player more than anything. So, yeah. Okay, En, I don't think I have any other questions for you. Thank you for the interview. Your English isn't bad, I promise. You do the interviews pretty well, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I will see you later, En. We're gonna go raid Dapple. I'm gonna do the closing remarks, but yeah, have a good one. You'll get your badge later. Really? No. No. No.
Second place also gets a badge.
No. Right? Okay, I guess we can know someone else.
Yeah.
Oh, Little Squid League. We can do them.
It's also happening right now. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do them. Well, I'll do that.